Stephen Davis. I'm a level 3 England squash coach, so licensed England squash coach. I coach at a variety of levels, players of all abilities. I first got introduced to the game by my dad, so I started playing when I was very young, 4 or 5 years old. My dad coached me up until probably about the age of 10 or 11, and I guess like most parents, he's never stopped coaching me. If he watches me play now, still has a bit of advice. But squash is great in terms of there's 2 of you on the court, so the winner is always going to come out as the best player. When you play a team sport, there's always an excuse you find. You know, it's someone else's problem, it's someone else's fault. In squash, there's nowhere to hide. You go on court. It's a very physical game. It's fast-paced, but there's nowhere really to hide. You know, if you don't win, you've got to live with yourself. I play pretty much every day. A lot of that is now coaching, but it's still hitting the ball. And some of the players I coach give me a good workout. Some of the ones have got very, very high level. So I am on court pretty much every day. Fitness is really important, but there's so much more to the game, the mental side to the game. When you're playing, you get to a higher level, you play players that are a similar standard, and then there's smaller margins. The margin becomes smaller and smaller. So yeah, definitely a mental side of the game, a will to win. I started coaching probably when I was about 20, and it was to help out. Once I got into it, I kind of realised how much I liked it. And then the opportunities came to go into level 2 and then to level 3. The club that I was mainly involved in really supportive, funded those courses, which is great, and just learned a lot about the game. By the time I did my level 3, I've been playing for 18 years or so, and I learned things on that course about the game, improved as a player. It's great to be able to pass that on. One of the things that's really important to me is that everyone has a chance to progress in their field. The sport has done a lot in recent times to grow publicity, to grow numbers. There's an elite pathway. So when players get to a certain level, there's a really good strong pathway. The junior tournaments are fantastic, but that's not for everyone. So it depends who I'm coaching, and it sounds a bit corny, but it's just as inspiring to get players that just play for the love, but that you can create an environment within an individual club, that they've got people that they can play and they feel that they've achieved on a session because they've beaten someone, or they just see themselves improving. So First for Squash is really aimed as a coaching company, and it's had a number of strings to it, and it's really aimed at growing participation, growing numbers in the sport. We've had a few players that have gone on to really high junior rankings, competed really well at national level, and that's massively satisfying. Of course it's great, but it's equally the bit behind that where perhaps, certainly in this county where we operate, there isn't so much going on. We've done events with some of the top pros, which is great because people come and get to watch them play, and that can be pretty inspiring. There's not many sports where top players in the world can just turn up at a local club at the drop of a hat, and they always get really involved and engage with the community, which is brilliant. So for me, it is about the participation, about growing numbers, and about promoting the sport as much as it is the elite level. We did a fantastic charity event for a little girl who was suffering with a terminal illness, sadly, but we did an event which raised a lot of money to help her with some pioneering treatment in America. And the squash community got behind that superbly. We had the world #1, we had an ex-England coach along, we had a couple of other world top-ranked players in the top 20 that came and supported it, and a good amount of money was raised. So we've done a few things. I've actually just turned 35, which in squash terms puts you in the veteran category. I've sort of competing in the Masters, they call it the Squash Masters, and I'm playing in the ranking tournaments up and down the country. British Open, which has just gone. I've got another tournament this weekend. And outside of that, within the county, Beds County Close is coming up, and I'm keen to win that for a 7th time, so I'm very much in training mode at the moment. The club is Luton Dunstable Squash Club, and it's just had some amazing success, really starting from nothing. The junior section group, and that's now kind of bearing fruit, where some of those that started at age 4 or 5 are now kind of under 13 level and are very high in the national rankings. One as high as #2, and some others doing very well, and even competing on European circuit at a very young age. So that's a real success story. And in terms of the adult squash, the club itself, we entered the national clubs, which is a really strong competition, the strongest national club competition outside of the professionals. And we were very lucky to get some good sponsors and some good backing, which enabled us to get Darryl Selby, who was world #10 at the time, has been Commonwealth bronze medalist and national champion. So he played for us, which is always handy, and a couple of other professionals in that team. for a club in Luton really perhaps didn't get as much publicity as it deserved for how successful the club and the sport has been. The things that we've done as a club is just to try and get involved with the local schools. And we've probably been out to 4 schools in total within Luton, and as first for squash has gone as far as Bedford, which is a regular thing and sees maybe 40 to 50 kids a week playing squash in those schools. Within Luton, we've done both going into the schools and going into a sports hall. You know, most schools don't have squash courts. We've gone into the sports hall and used walls and just been a bit creative with how we've done just to introduce the game to people. And we've had some other local schools that have actually run official PE sessions here. Some have done after-school clubs. But it's just a great way to get numbers and to get people to see squash. Squash in the Olympics is an interesting topic. No one can really understand it. It seems logical that it should be an Olympic sport. The sport has pushed really hard to make that leap and to become an Olympic sport. It was in the Commonwealth, and that came across so well. The TV footage was superb. One of the problems is it's quite hard to record on a squash court with the ball moving so fast, but they've done so much with coloured courts, white ball now, and it worked really well in the Commonwealth. So it seems a natural progression that we would get into the Olympics. Hasn't done yet, but I know the sport won't give up and they'll keep trying because it's the kind of publicity that we need. As a nation, we would have won a lot of medals in recent times. We've had some of the best players in the world, so it's a real shame, and it would have given it a boost. Everyone's hoping at some point.